Good morning, everybody. So, just the recording of the portion we did last day, that is on Saturday, and hopefully you follow up with this, and then you will not have problem. We are starting with line number 71. Remember what Antonio says: what is easier done than actually arguing with a Jew? It is better. I pray you think, you question, think you before you argue with the Jew. Why? You may as well go stand on the beach, the sea beach, and then request the main flood, the sea, to bait, to lessen down the height of its waves. Number two, you can also question, argue with a wolf. Why it made the ewe, the mother sheep, bleat by devouring for the lamb. Number three, you can very well stand and forbid the mountain pine to make any sound when they are threatened, when they are agitated by gusts of wind, by the storm. You can do anything that is hardest. Look how he chooses his word. That is hardest, but not something that is harder than the hardest. And what is that something that is harder than the hardest? Harder than the hardest is to melt the heart, is to soften the heart of a Jew. And he says, therefore, I do beseech you, make no more offers, use no further means, but with all brief and plain conveniency, let me have judgment and the Jew his will. And Bassanio offers for your 3,000 ducats here is six. Look what Shylock says, how he refuses his offer in every ducat in 6,000 ducats were in six parts. If every ducat in 6,000 ducats were in six parts, and each part a ducat, I would not draw them. How much did I say? 36,000 ducats. And Duke says, how shall thou hope for mercy, rendering none? And Shylock says, what judgment shall I dread, doing no wrong? And look what example he gives to prove his point. He says, you have amongst yourself uh, many a purchased slave, which, like your asses, like your dogs, like your mules, like animals, you use in abject and slavish conditions. What is your reason? Because you brought them. Shall I say to you, let them be free? Shall I say to you, marry them to your heirs? Shall I say to you, why do they sweat under your burden? Shall I say to you, let their beds be made as soft as yours? Shall I say to you, let their palates be seasoned with such viand's tasty food? What will your answer be? That these are our slaves, we have purchased them, and so is my answer. The pound of flesh that I demand is dearly purchased by me. And if you deny it, fine. Shame on the laws of Venice. There is no force, there is no justice in the decrees, in the laws of Venice. I stand for judgment. Answer. And Duke says, upon my power, I may dismiss this court unless Valerio, a learned doctor, a lawyer, a doctor of law, whom I have sent for to determine this case, come here. And Celerio says, my lord here stays without a messenger who has come from doctor, just arrived from Newcomb, just arrived from Padua. And Duke says, bring us the letter, call the messenger. Good cheer, Antonio, what man courage. And he says the duke, the Jew shall have my flesh. See how Bassanio wants to protect his friend. My flesh, my blood, my bones, sir, before you shall even lose a drop of blood. And Antonio, I told you, appears he's resigned to his fate. He is willing to accept death. He says, I am the diseased wether, the diseased sheep, the tainted wether of the flock. You know that unhealthy fruit, that sick fruit that drops to the ground early and does not mature. He says, so let it be with me. You, Bassanio, will not be, you can be better employed. I'm sorry, you cannot better be employed, Bassanio, than to live still and write my own epitaph. And Duke says, came you from Padua, from Bellerio? From both, my lord, from both. That is, I've come from Padua, I've also come from Bellerio. And Bassanio says, why dost thou whet thy knife? Whet, sharpen, sharpen thy knife. And Shylock's answer, to cut the forfeiture from that bankrupt. And Retienius says, not on thy soul, but on thy soul. Not on thy soul, not on the shoe sole, but on thy soul. The deed will be on your conscience, on your heart. And he says, no metal, not even the hangman's axe, can match your keen envy. Can no prayers pierce thee? And Shylock's very simple answer, no, none that you can make. Thank you so much for today. Please remember that you need to answer and send me your assignments. I have given you 72 hours for each assignment. So please be careful as to send these assignments within 72 hours. Thank you so much. Stay well and stay safe.